Welcome to our channel Christianity Renewed. We are the authors of Christianity Renewed Volume 1, 2, 3 and 4. Our website is www.christianityrenewed.com. Our books are also available on Kindle and were translated into Spanish.
Mark and I, let me introduce myself again, Helen Verbergs. Mark are the co-authors of our booklets, Christianity Renewed. And we've got this lovely website where we're having interactive dialogue with you out there in cyberspace. And we've received a few interesting questions that we'd like to deal with. And I'll just hand it over to Mark, who's I won't say expert, he doesn't like that word, but none of us are experts, but we're all students of truth. We are all trying to learn as much as we can here. Mark, the main question that has been asked is, first of all, basically, do Baha'is believe in Jesus Christ? And is Jesus Christ the Son of God? And even people are saying, is Jesus really God? Would you mind dealing with those?
Absolutely, because they are fundamental type of questions. First of all, I must say that as Baha'is, we fearlessly assert the divinity and the sonship of Jesus Christ. For us, Christ, the Son of God, is the foundation of Christianity. It is the real foundation of Christianity. Not the church. Not the church. It's this belief that Jesus is the Son of God. And this is something we find in the Gospels too, where Jesus himself, he says, "Who am I?" When he asked to his apostles, the disciples, and says, some of the prophets and so on. And then Peter, he falls on his knees and he said, "You are the Son of the living God." And at that moment, Jesus didn't say, "Oh, now you've gone too far." No, Jesus says, "It's not flesh and blood which has revealed this to you, but my Father which is in heaven." And this became the rock. This became the rock for all the teachings.
The rock meaning foundation.
Foundation for all the teachings. Some churches will say that they are the rock, but actually this is historically.
It's a spiritual foundation.
It's a spiritual foundation, yes. And we as Baha'is, we believe exactly the same thing. The foundation of religion is really that perfect soul, the manifestation of God, who becomes manifest, and who enters within our creation, and who brings teachings to this world. So that's when we talk about Christ off and on. How it's the beginning and the end. It is a continuation. It's a continuation.
Yes. That spiritual truth.
Yeah, of that spiritual truth. So that's one way of looking at that concept of the Son of God. Yes.
So we're not really saying Son of God as in a physical son.
It's not a physical. I also got sons and got sons, but that's not. It's not in that physical way.
So it's the spiritual type
concept. Like also the concept of the Father. It's a spiritual concept, and the main reason why that spiritual concept is there is because Jesus was a Jew. He was a very religious Jew. And as a religious Jew, he could not just use the word God in vain. That is against the Ten Commandments. He couldn't use the word God in vain. When he talks about God, he speaks about the Father. This Abba, it's very well accepted in the Jewish context. And we'll find that a lot when we start to study, isn't it? A lot of things which are very accepted within the Jewish context of 2,000 years ago is now because people are thinking in a different way. Meanings have been twisted and warped and changed. Yes.
Well, speaking about meanings being changed and understandings distorted, when the Christians come out and say Jesus is God, what would you say to that?
God is the creator. He is the creator. The Bible tells us very clearly that God is dwelling in the approachable light where no man can see him or even can see him.
Hear his
Well, his voice. Actually, it's interesting you mentioned his voice because when Jesus was asked actually a similar type of question about seeing God, he is seeing the Father. Jesus says, you have neither seen his shape, you have neither heard its voice. It's that same
For another quote too, just sorry to interrupt you.
That's okay.
There's another quote in the Old Testament that says, shall a God indeed dwell on earth? Nay, the heaven and heavens cannot contain you. So that is showing the immensity, the understanding of that immense divine nature of God, the essence of God, which is unknowable, which cannot be contained. But his spirit can be manifested through these divine spiritual educators, and that's how we know God.
And that's how we know God.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're not denying the existence of God. We're not denying that his manifestation is showing forth his teachings and his greatness. And it's so immense in the Baha'i writings, actually. There's a beautiful quote in one of the books called the Book of Certitude. It says, all things live and move and have their being within the manifestation of God. So we have to not bring our concept of what God is down to a human level and a human understanding, but what we really need to do is to bring our human understanding up to a level of understanding more about what the reality of the manifestation of God is. And that is, for us, really as far as we need to go, because another understanding in the Baha'i writings is that the manifestation of God, the tree beyond which there is no passing. So human understanding cannot go past that understanding through the manifestation of God. What is God? So we understand about his attributes and his divinity, his perfections, through that manifestation, but the essence of God we can never understand, just like we can't understand the essence of anything, basically.
In some way, I would say then is actually that this idea about Christ, Son of God, is now in modern society renewed, and the new term is manifestation of God. And in some way, it's a renewal of a term, but at the same time, the same concept is actually already found into the Bible. Yes, and that's interesting because Paul, he says that Christ is the image of the invisible God. Christ is the image of the invisible God. What means that God is the invisible one, but Christ is an image.
A mirror, it's like a mirror. Like in a mirror of the personage of Jesus Christ, you are looking at the reflection of the attributes of God and his perfections.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's the reason then also why, as Baha'is, and they come from Hindu background, Buddhist background, Jewish background, doesn't matter. If they do not believe in Christ, they have denied God himself. So this is a very strong concept.
Right.
But as Baha'i, we believe in the divinity and the sonship of Jesus Christ. Yes. Well, maybe if time permits, in the next program we talk about an example, how to explain more about that manifestation of God.
Okay, that sounds good. So that's enough for now.
Yes.
Tune in again to the next show. Thank you.